In this video, we're going to just look at the basics of trig graphs and specifically the incredible way that you can use your calculator to help you to plot the points. So I am a fan of understanding what's happening. So this is a normal sine graph. So in seconds, you can draw a normal parent sine graph. It's twice as high, so its max would be 2 and its min would be minus 2. And then the entire graph is shifted down 1. So everything has gone down 1. And so by the time we're done, the max would be 1 and the min would be minus 3. And instead of starting at 0, it will start at minus 1. So I am a fan of understanding the basics of what's going on with graphs, but at the same time, if you've got a calculator, you're sitting in your exams and you're able to use it and you know how to, it just makes life so much easier. And so try this with me. Anytime that you've got a trig graph, type in your calculator mode, table, type in the graph. So you're going to type in 2 sine, and if you need an x, you're going to press the alpha button, which is the top left, just next to shift. It's in red. Press alpha and then the x, which is also in red above the bracket. And be very careful to close a bracket. A lot of people don't close this bracket because when you type in alpha x, it automatically gives you this bracket. And so they forget the other bracket and they either don't do anything or they close it at the end, and that will completely mess up all your answers. So make sure that you've closed the bracket, minus 1. Then you press equals, and if it does bring up gx, just press equals again. I prefer to work with one graph at a time with the unique step that that graph might need. And then press start wherever they tell you. So in this case, and in most cases, it's 0 to 360. But if the graph did start with something like this, then start with minus 180, press equals. End will be wherever they tell you to end. So again, in this case, it's going to be 360 equals. Step, I'm going to make an entire video just dealing with step and which is the best one to choose. In real quick summary, sine and cos, a normal graph, the best step is 90. And for a tan graph, the best step is typically 45. I'll explain it more, but if the normal step is 90, you can use multiples that will get you to 90. And so I'm just in this video going for the smallest one. The reason I'm doing that and not the normal step, which is the best case in this specific question, is just because I want to highlight something else that comes up. So I'm going to go step 30 and then I press equals and it will plot all my points for me. And so on your calculator, you'll have a column of x's and you'll have a column of f of x's, which is y. So each of those would make up your coordinates. So if you go to your first point, if it's like mine, you have a 0 for x and a minus 1. And your next point would be 30 and 0. And your next point would be 60. And then it's just got weird decimals. And so I've said here, if there's weird decimals, just ignore that point. It's us getting more points than we need. Except if it's the first and last point, because then you actually need to begin your graph and end it. So if it is weird decimals at the start and the finish, include those. So in this case, I would have said, say the beginning was 0 and 0,732. I'll just say 0, semicolon 0.7, something like that. And don't forget that you can scroll down. Sometimes people think those are the only 3 points that you get. You can just scroll down and you end up getting all the points that you need from start to finish. If the graph is from 0 to 360, then it's not really helpful to get in the habit of doing your graphs like this, because the whole graph's going to be happening on this side. And so look at what the domain is. In this case, it's 0 to 360. So a really quick rough picture of that. This is what I would do in an exam unless they gave me grid paper. Here's my basic points, and if I scroll down quickly, it goes up to 1 and it goes down to minus 3. And so all I'm going to do is just plot these points. So 0, minus 1, there's the first point. And this is just teenage version of dot to dot. 30 and 0, weird point, 90 and 1, weird point, 150 and 0, 180 and minus 1, 210 and minus 2, 240 and weird, 270 and minus 3, 300 and weird decimals, 330 and minus 2, and 360 and minus 1. So if this was my exam, I would probably label every single coordinate like I did here. In the interest of time, I'm just plotting these points based on the semi-accuracy of my y values, and then all that's left to do from here is just to do dot to dot, and there you've got your graph. And then you can answer whatever questions come from there. And so if they say to you, where is fx bigger than 0? Where is it above the line? Then you can see it's above the line from there to there. So your answer would just be from 30 until 150. Where is this graph decreasing? In other words, going downhill. So it starts there and it's going downhill until 270. So where is it decreasing? Or a seriously fancy question that can leave you totally flummoxed is, where is the derivative less than 0? I remember the first time I saw this, suddenly I had derivatives in trig and I was totally lost in school. But when you realize that's just the gradient, in other words, that's just where, if you saw derivative less than 0, that's just where it's decreasing. So it's just between, for this one, I would say 90 until 270. So I hope that gives you a nice basic intro into graphs and how to use them. Enjoy the video on step and how to select those cleverly. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to our channel, and share with your friends. Thanks.